I don't like to hear people say, look, you can't do this, right? So guess what? You ain't never going to make it.
Welcome to Unemployable, the podcast, where we strive to inspire and amplify disabled voices in the business landscape. I'm your host, Sarah Sadia, and our mission is to ensure that future generations of entrepreneurs with a disability are seen, heard, and celebrated. So let's jump in and explore what's possible. Hi there. Today I have with me an incredible young entrepreneur named Ryan Hayes. Now, Ryan is a content creator and an entrepreneur from the Hawkesbury, and he's an autistic creator who struggled to find the right job for him. He's decided to follow his passions into YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of the platforms, creating content for people to see. So thank you for being here with us today, Ryan. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Sarah.
It's really exciting to have you here. So Ryan and I have worked together for a little while, not a few months now. Talking to Ryan and getting to know Ryan has really, really inspired me because he's taken such a big leap of faith into following what he loves, following his passions, even when everyone else haven't always agreed with him. Ryan, tell me a little bit about what you do. What's your business? What do you do for a living?
Okay, I am a content creator, so I do a lot of gaming style videos. I do like guitar playing stuff. I'm a very average guitar player, but I like to teach a little bit of that. I do motivational stuff, just my daily vlogging and things like that. So I don't really have a specific category for what I do. And if I were to, it'd be gaming, vlogging, education. Yeah.
So tell me, what inspired you to follow this path for a job? Like it's, waking up in the morning and saying, I want to be an entertainer and a content creator is not something for everybody. What inspired you? What made you want to do this?
So what inspired me was when I was a kid, I loved watching certain movies and I'm a massive wrestling fan. So I grew up watching John Cena. I grew up watching Undertaker and just movies like Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Mark Wahlberg, all those people. And I thought to myself, you know what? I really want to do something like this in future. I love horror movies. And
Yeah.
I grew
I'm
up
a bit of a
watching,
sook about horror movies, I have to confess.
yes, I grew up watching Scream, and there was one actress in that movie that really inspired me. Her name is Nev Campbell, and she played Sydney Prescott from one all the way to five.
But she popped up in number 7, didn't she? I believe she's going to be in that one.
Good.
The talk. Let's see what happens.
So, yeah, that's what inspired me to really pursue entertainment. What inspired me with music was Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, Elton John,
All the classics.
like Justin Timberlake. I don't think he's too bad.
You're inspired by all the classic musicians and stuff like that. Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, that's why I started being creative. I worship these people and I thought, you know what? I got to have a crack. I want to see if I can do it too. I'm very happy that I made the decision to do so.
So where did the confidence come for this?
The confidence has to come from within yourself. Like, you got to be able to believe 100% that you can do something. And when you know deep down inside you can do it, there's nothing that can stop you. And building confidence, it's like building a muscle. And as you do more repetitions, the muscle gets a little bit more defined. It starts to get bigger and it gets stronger. And that is the muscle of confidence. It is working with repetitions and
Absolutely.
just realizing that, okay, look, I got to be patient here because it's not going to happen right away. That's
Absolutely.
what happened with me. That's how I developed confidence, was by doing it all the time. Consistency is key.
What made you choose this type of career, which is, it's a different type of career. Being an entrepreneur, being a content creator is a hard path for some people. It's not consistent. It's not consistent money. What made you choose a career path like this over a traditional one?
Okay, I always knew that I had a strong personality. Like I I guess when I was a kid, I was an entertainer around the house. And mum and dad would always get up me for having music too loud. I remember one time my dad actually made me up a CD of two songs from the Beatles, and that was Taxman and I don't know what the other song was. It was a long time ago, but I would always dance to that sort of music. And yeah, I always loved just being an entertainer. And I knew that I was not cut out for the traditional workforce because my education was shocking. I'm looking forward to actually talking to you guys about my education. It's not only going to be therapeutic for me, but I know it can help a lot of you out there that are struggling.
Let me know what happened with your education and with school and those choices. What made things a little different for you?
So I was in the support unit at school. And what that is, it's a unit for people with a disability. So it's a big building that, yeah, it's not really easy. Like, it's very painful for me to actually admit this because I'm not saying it was a sign of weakness, but it didn't work out for me. So the support unit is like extra help for people that can't concentrate, for people that have speech impediments, just for people in general with a disability. So it is a very, very good thing to have. Like, I'm so glad that schools have that because people like me need all the help we can get, and encouragement's important. And I believe that the more people are behind you, the better it is.
Did a lot of people at school and in the support unit talk to you about work and employment and having a job after school finished?
A little bit, yeah. Like, I did work experience with Coles, I did work experience with Woolworths, and I worked very hard to try to get those jobs, but there was always something stopping me from actually getting that job. And yeah, looking back on it now, I'm not upset about it. So, but yeah, definitely the teachers did talk to me about it.
Did you enjoy doing those jobs, or was that kind of the thing that you were just kind of had to do?
In the beginning, I liked to work. So I never looked at it as I had to do it. I wanted to do it.
So, when it came to content creation, how did you get started? What was the very first video that you made? Do you remember?
Yes, actually, Sarah, good one. I made a video in my mate's house. I was talking about him and I were talking about YouTube. We would often daydream about what would it be like to be in front of a camera and what do these Hollywood people go through. And I thought to myself, you know what? I need to give this a go. With my very old Sony CX405 camcorder, it's a little camcorder about this big.
Yeah.
Film in my mate's backyard. That was really how I got started.
How long have you been doing this for in total?
Except for YouTube and uploading videos, probably maybe 5 or 6 years.
So it's been a while. What has been one of the biggest lessons that you've learned from putting yourself out there in public as a person with a disability, as a person who's honest and open about who you are and what your struggles are? What has been the reaction from the public?
The reaction from people has not been too bad. Like, obviously, you're going to get your haters and people that don't like what you do. Okay, whatever. But I've had people say to me, what's your disability and how have you overcome it? So I guess it's been really nice to be sort of a mentor to people and just share with them what I've done and how I've accomplished what I'm accomplishing. I get positive and negative feedback.
How do you handle the negative feedback though? I know that that's something that we often talk about because it's easy to sort of say, oh, I just sort of push it aside. How do you handle it when that comes to you? What's been your strategy?
Yeah, well, I'm a human being and sometimes it does get to me a little bit, but what I've got to remember is, and I want, Sarah, I want all your audience to know this as well. If you're not hearing noise, if you're not making an impact, you are not succeeding. So whether it be positive, negative comments, it doesn't matter. The main thing is you hear something. And that's what I've learned is, yes, it's upsetting to hear negative comments and see negative comments, but at the end of the day, I'm very grateful to get to do what I do because I'm reaching people, and that's pretty cool.
Oh, Ryan, this is why you inspire me so much. So that's so true. Like every time I see a hated comment on something, because when you're a person on the internet, there's always going to be somebody saying something. But every time I see a comment underneath something, I'm like, thank you for boosting the algorithm, mate. Keep it up. Every time I see that, I'm like, thank you. You've just got me seen by 100 more people. Much appreciated.
Yeah, I earned 30 cents from haters, so thank you.
Thank you. That's great. I appreciate your help. Yeah.
I can't retire yet, but let's keep it going.
So I know that you had a really big goal this year was to start to monetize your platform, which is amazing. And it takes a long while to be able to get to that point, especially in Australia as an Australian content creator. Has it been difficult? What's been the most successful platform for you? What are you enjoying working on right now?
Yeah, see, the thing is, I started really with YouTube, and I absolutely love making YouTube videos. Like, YouTube alone is my baby. And then someone spoke to me about TikTok. They said, hey, have you ever thought about TikTok? And I thought, TikTok, isn't that hands on a clock or something?
I just thought it was teenagers dancing.
And I started making videos on TikTok. See, what I discovered was making YouTube videos is the hardest thing to do to make money. And that's why so many people quit, because they don't see the results straight away. For me, TikTok, when I started making videos, I thought, I'm getting views straight away, and this is really cool. And one time I promoted one of my TikTok reels and I got over 1,000 followers. And I thought, okay, what does this mean? And then I did a live stream and people started sending me gifts. And I thought, wait a second, it was money. And I thought, oh my gosh.
You really struck an audience there.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, from what I've heard, and I'm not going to proclaim to be an expert on social media by any means, but what I've heard is TikTok is kind of like what Instagram was 10 years ago. It's kind of a little bit of the Wild West. Everyone's out there, and the more that you're on there and the more that you're connecting with people, the more viewers and stuff that you're going to get organically. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. See, it really is all about consistency. And like I was saying with my disability, having ADHD is very tricky for me because right now I'm really struggling to concentrate. But I realized something that is working for me is what I love about short form videos, like even 15 to a minute videos, is that is so much easier for me to pump out. And for TikTok, I can just make video after video after video every single day, and I feel accomplished.
Matches your energy and what you feel you be capable of.
Exactly right. You've got to, the old saying, you've got to live within your means, and you got to, this is where some people could get disheartened, is they want everything straight away, and it doesn't happen. It takes time. And hey, I'm no mug. I know this because it happened to me. When I very first started making videos, I thought, oh yeah, in a year I'm going to be a millionaire. Guess what? I've been flat broke for 3 years, but I love what I do. So I'm willing to ride that wave of momentum.
What gives you that motivation to keep going when it's been hard? Like to get to this point now where the tables are turning, your videos are getting seen, your content's being monetized now. How did you stay positive until you got to that point?
Yeah, good question, Sarah. I sort of adapted Arnold Schwarzenegger's mindset of I couldn't wait to make another video. And Arnold said in an interview, he said, while everyone else in the gym is surly and unhappy, I couldn't wait to get to the gym because I had a goal that I was going for. And I thought to myself, if I adapt that mindset, then nothing can stop me. So even though, yes, the hard times are no one's watching me, I'm not making money, the good times are hey, I get to reach people in the end and I make a little bit of money. I love what I do. So I can't wait to make videos. Every day I wake up, I think, you know what? It's time.
That's
So,
great. Yeah. See, you know, it's something that you're meant to be doing if every day you wake up and say, I can't wait to go and make another video. I'm really proud of you for being vulnerable. I'm really proud of you for putting yourself out there. Take the knocks and take the patience and keep getting up and doing it over and over again. You really can only do that if you're doing something that you love. So that's incredible. How have you struggled with employment and finding a job and finding the right job for you? Like, I know for me, as a person with disability, working in a traditional job wasn't for me because I couldn't get the flexibility that I needed for my physical health and for my children. But what kept you from regular employment as well with your disability?
yeah, see, the thing is, Sarah, good point. Actually, no, good question. I got a lot of different jobs and Nova, even though I worked with Nova, they've been very, very good to me.
Yeah, they're a disability employment agency and they've been very supportive of you.
Our disability agency. Thank you, Sarah.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's really been up to me. And what I mean by that is Nova have led me to employment, but it was my attitude that got me every job I ever had. And I've had a lot of different jobs. You see, the bosses took a look at me and they thought, you know what? I really like this guy's attitude. I'm going to put him on.
That's really good. That's good. But you weren't able to stay in the job for a long period of time because your heart was always somewhere else.
Yes, you're exactly right. And I always felt like because of my disability, I was pushed. And I know a lot of your viewers can relate, well, maybe can relate, but when you work for a boss, you can only do your best. And what happened with me was I would work so hard that I thought to myself, I'm not getting anywhere because the way I look at it is, yes, these bosses hired me and I thank them, but because I have a disability, they have kept me at the bottom of the rung. And I thought to myself, you know what, mate, when you hit 30, you better start. You need to flip the switch. And that's exactly what I did. I've always been a very ambitious sort of person, and ambition can get you in trouble. Trust me.
But it can also get you to the top when you need to be. Keep you going when things get hard.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. I was not prepared to quit. And I thought to myself, okay, bosses, you don't want to give me a fair shake. Then guess what? I'm going to ride off into the sunset and I'm going to do what I always knew I could do. That's what I did. So I'm glad that I took the biggest leap I ever took. I was working at Bunnings for 6 years, and I'll be honest with you guys, I was the trolley boy. I was the guy that would bring the trolleys in. And I got to a point where I thought, you know what? You're 25 years old and you have all these dreams of being a musician and being a content creator. And I thought to myself, you know what? You need to take this leap. If you fall flat on your face, don't worry about it because you will survive. And I took the leap and I've struggled, but I've never looked back.
It's amazing, Ryan. That's such an inspiration. And you're right. Sometimes it's hard. Like we talk about being unemployed, but we also talk about being underemployed. When you know you have skills, where you know you can grow, where you know you can do so much more, but for some reason everyone else's expectations of you are low and they keep you down here instead of letting you move up where you need to go. And that is really common with people with disability and employment. Really, really common. I hear this story over and over again. So what's if there was no barriers and you could, take your YouTube channel and your Patreon and all of these things to wherever you wanted to be, what would be the ultimate goal for you? What would be the ultimate dream for Ryan Hayes, the content creator?
Wow.
I know that's a big ask.
The ultimate goal for me is to just continue making the best content I can. And also, oh man, all right, let's see how I can. As I said, the chains are off. So
Yeah, chains are off.
I want to buy myself in the next 5 to 10 years. I want to buy myself a house, cash. And I know that everyone out there will be like, wait a second, dude, that is not possible. Well, you know what? I I'm insane. You can't tell me nothing is impossible because in my opinion, everything's possible. That's
Couldn't agree with you more. Everything's figure outable, right?
and I look at the world today and I think, you know what? It is tough. We are all struggling, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of fear too that stops people. So
Yeah.
the way I look at it is if you set yourself a big goal like I just did, then you got to put little steps into place, like start with a video and work out your personality from there. See,
Yeah.
what has really helped me, Sarah, is I've never had to put on an act. As you know, my own personality has been the thing that has got me through. And I believe that longevity is everything. I want to have a career in this industry for the rest of my life. I really do.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. And what you're saying about being yourself, I mean, you can't fake a personality online for an extended period of time. Somebody is going to out you at some point. The best thing you can do is be yourself because you can't be anybody else, right?
Like, there are skills that can be put in place, like with camera confidence and stuff like that. The way I look at it is yes, you got to have it internally inside of you. But as I said in the beginning of the video, it is a muscle that can be built and it is a muscle that can be strengthened. I don't like to hear people say, look, you can't do this, right? So guess what? You ain't never going to make it. I want to slap those people because
Those people actually make me work harder. So I'll never forget having somebody tell me that I couldn't do something in high school, and a teacher telling me that I'd never get top marks in this class. So I hated this class, but because she told me I couldn't do it, I worked my butt off and came first. I really have this oppositional defiance to people telling me I can't do something. It was a good strategy for her because it made me work really hard. Now that I'm thinking about it, it was probably her idea all along.
sorry. And I guess that's what it all boils down to is I've always felt that because I was in the support unit at school, my grades were terrible. I didn't have a hope of getting into university. And one of my ultimate goals was because teachers inspired me too. And I wanted to be maybe a music teacher or a PE teacher. I love fitness as well. And unfortunately, because of the disabilities I have, I had to take a different path. And also, what having a disability really did for me was it made me naive to how people actually are. And I really struggled with relationships in my life. I couldn't, like you guys, I could not get a woman to even smile at me, let alone go on any dates. And what ended up happening for me was I ended up having a chip on my shoulder because first of all, what I did was I thought about the things that I was good at and tunnel vision. And then I thought, you know what? I am about to completely shock myself and be like, you know what? Okay, I got a massive chip on my shoulder because the whole world's written me off, right? And guess what? Your boy's got a point to prove. And I feel when I have a point to prove, I am at my most strongest. So
Yep,
you can't stop.
absolutely.
Guess what? I'm coming straight for you.
I love that, Ryan. I absolutely love that. Good on you. The way that you view the world, the way that you turn those negatives into positives for the things that you've been through, the things that have happened to you. Like, I'm just so proud of what you're accomplishing and how proud I am of you leaning into these new things and just saying yes and agreeing to them. It's pretty incredible.
Sarah, you still there?
You've turned sideways though. There we go.
Well, no, I got to turn my notifications off on Instagram.
I forget to do that sometimes too.
So, Sarah,
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about that, Ryan. What has shaped you and shaped you in your decisions?
yeah, I guess because of my disability, I had a lot of people that did write me off. And unfortunately for me, man, I had a relationship with my mother that wasn't very good.
Yeah, you can keep as much private as you'd like to.
Let's just say my mother wasn't well. And unfortunately, she hadn't been well for my whole life. And yeah, she was just not able to take care of me like I needed her to. And I don't know, in a way, I felt like abandoned. And yeah, it was a weird thing. So I
Yeah.
guess I always had this feeling of just sheer dominance. And it's like, you know what? The only person you can really rely on is you. I loved my mother and I always will, but in my opinion, she needed to work on herself before she could become a parent. That's just my opinion. My
Yeah. But it helped you in the long run, which is hard. But it's hard to understand that when you're a kid.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that changed you in the fact that you started to work on yourself a lot.
Yeah. And see what happened was is I had unfortunately when I was very young, I was only 16. My mother had actually died. And I thought to myself, wait a second, this is not supposed to happen. How can someone like me that's never done anything wrong, how can I be given this unbearable, punishable task of having to be there when my mother had just died and even before? And I was like, okay, this is not right. This ain't meant to happen. So I guess that's what shaped me was losing my mother. I started to realize what life was. And I thought, you know what? At the end of the day, and I know a lot of your viewers, Sarah, can relate to this, we only get one shot. And I used to always imagine that, hey, look, I'm going to wake up one day and my mother's going to be there, either sitting on a chair or, I don't know, like standing over me and saying, right, it was all a dream. But I realize now that it wasn't a dream. And yeah, that's what kept me going was knowing how precious life is and knowing how quick it can end.
That is
Mm.
such a big lesson to learn at such a young age, especially while you're at school or especially while you're in sport and all those things are happening. So I'm really sorry that you had to experience that, but I'm sure she's pretty proud of what you've accomplished now.
Oh, yeah. Like, I actually like to tell this story when it comes to determination because it's a really funny one. And I've never actually said this before. So, Sarah, you're the first to hear.
Exclusive. I love it.
It'll cost you $15. When I was a little kid, we lived up in Maruya for about 6 months. I went to school there, and my mum's best friend, she was actually my godmother, they had these blow up rafts, these boats, and there were two of them. And they didn't have a pump. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm about to try something that could either kill me or could actually may work. And I started blowing them up with my mouth. And my mum looked at my auntie and said, look at Ryan. I blew both of them up in 2 hours
Oh my goodness.
because I knew I could do it.
Once you started, you didn't quit.
That's right. Tell
And
you
you still
what,
do it.
well, I won't be doing that today.
No, no, but it's an example of people
Yeah.
tell you it can't be done, but you're like, I'm not going to quit and I'll prove you wrong.
I guess that's where my determination started.
Yeah, that's amazing. So that's a really cool story here. Thank you. I'm guessing what I want to know is what advice or words of wisdom do you have for other people, other young content creators who have a disability, getting started in the industry? What would be your advice to them?
Times are going to be very tough, but you can achieve anything you want just as long as you remember that it is what I really want to do and just don't quit. Like, do not ever give in to the voices because that's all they are. Like, ignore people that criticism can be your best friend if you let it be. So just ignore what people say and just stick to your inner self. That's the advice is believe that you can do it because you can. Whatever.
Yeah. And you have supports as well that are helping you on this journey, so you're not on your own,
Yes.
which is amazing. I highly recommend. And one of the things that we talk to everyone is about the support team that you have in place around this so that you're not alone. So you've got people to talk to, so that you've got places to go for advice and inspiration.
Yeah, actually, no, good you brought that up, Sarah. Another thing I would tell people is please don't be stubborn. And I'll tell you why. Because if you're anything like me and you think you can beat it on your own, like a disability or a problem, I got news for you guys. You can't do it on your own. And when I pushed aside, like pushed everything aside, and I thought, you know what? I need, I got to listen to these people. I embraced it. And that's why I'm here in this position because, yeah, I pushed it aside and I was not pig-headed. And I thought, you know what? Take it, Ryan, because it won't be here for much longer. And I thought, okay, do it.
Yeah, so everyone needs support. It's about finding the right people who understand you, who understand your vision and want to support it and not be negative about it.
No, exactly right. And that's why I gave up on the support system for a while because no one was listening to me. And I thought, you know what? Stuff them. I'm going to do it
Yeah.
all.
What was your experience with that? What happened with the people that were telling you, not to do this?
I guess they were worried that I might fail. And hey, like, if you don't fail, you don't care. Like, and
Absolutely.
you have to fail. I was working with no employment, and every job they ever got me, I didn't want. See, they didn't listen to me. They got me jobs that they wanted to get. And I thought to myself, you know what? I will listen to you because I'm respectful and I'll give this a go because I have a strong work ethic, but don't expect me to stay because I've got a time limit and I've got a deadline. So yeah, it was like, that's really what happened was Nova got me stuff that they wanted to get me.
But you had to follow your heart.
And I mean, we all got to make money.
That's the way of the world, isn't it? We've all got bills to pay and keep roof over head, but it's okay to do that and pursue your dreams at the same time.
Exactly. And I'm not silly. Like if I had started making content at 18, I wasn't mature enough and I wasn't ready enough. So the way I look at it is I would have been like that girl on Dr. Phil that said, you know what? I'm never going to work. Well, you know what? You're not going to get anywhere because we all have to work. And don't be afraid of a bit of hard work because it'll put some hair on your chest.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and putting yourself out there. I know that it's not easy to sit and talk like this, but I appreciate that. Where can people find you? Where can people follow you? How can people connect with you and your content?
Yes, so you can follow me on YouTube, Ryan Hayes.
I'll drop all the links in our show notes as well, so they'll be able to copy them. So you're on Instagram as well?
Yeah, so Instagram, TikTok, and now Patreon.
The Patreon, is that Patreon's only new?
Yes.
And what sort of extras will they be getting by joining your Patreon?
Watching me do stupid stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, just behind the scenes videos, podcasting, gaming, music. So a little bit of everything that I already do, but the volume's turned up a bit. And my content, it's actually uncut. So yeah, I let loose.
They get a lot more of Ryan.
Yeah, and it's like if I want to swear, I will.
Yep. But you're not a big swearing guy though, are you?
No, I don't do that. For $15 a month, I'll do it.
I love it. I love it. You can honestly sell anything to anyone, mate. It's so impressive. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your motivation and for your inspiration. I always leave talking to you with a big smile on my face and really inspired to move forward. So thank you for taking the time today. And I really appreciate you being a part of this podcast.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah.